Today, we're going to help a health coach find time and make a plan to get her business on track.
Welcome to My Designed Life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Design Success, where we learn how to be the architect of a thriving business and life that we love every day. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Tanyamfk, and on the My Design Life Success podcast on your favorite streaming platform. I'm your host, Tanya Marie Figueres-Kreisinger, more easily known as Tanya MFK. And you are here because you know that you can build a business without putting your life on the back burner. And we are here each week to learn how. So in today's coaching edition, we're going to meet with Debra of Deb's Health and Fitness. She's a single mom that loves her kids, loves to cook, and has learned to also love working out. She's a paralegal by day and a certified health coach working towards an additional degree in nutrition and helps others get healthy through their mind, body, and soul. So while a list like that, it's not hard to understand that time, energy, and direction has been hard for her and growth is a little slow. So today we're going to dig in to find out what's working, what's not, and what she needs to do next. So let's give a big welcome to Debra. Hi, Debra. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, you guys, if there are any other health or nutrition coaches in the house, please show your love, comment below, because it takes a lot to show up and do this. So let's send her some encouragement and support during this. Let her know that we are rooting for her. So Debra, we're just going to dive right in. And I just want you to tell me right now what you see as the biggest challenge for your business.
It's time, which I know is very broad, but time to manage everything. I feel like with 2 young kids, a full-time paralegal job, I'm in school as well, and I'm coaching clients. I'm just all over the place. And sometimes I'm not managing my time very well. And I'm having a hard time finding extra time to even work on things to help my clients more.
Right.
So managing my time.
Yeah. Well, time is definitely one of those things. And finding extra time is pretty much impossible because there really isn't any extra. It is, like you said, finding out what to do with what we have. So what do you think the solution is for yourself right now with time?
I could maybe shave off some sleep. I don't know if that's a healthy way of thinking about it, but it's like I want to take things off my plate, but everything on my plate is, I feel, a responsibility, like with my kids or my job, or it's needed for me to do the other things, like going to the gym. Like I have to have 3 days a week where I give myself an hour where I can go work out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could have an extra hour 3 days a week, but that's what helps me get through the week.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's really, I'm so glad that you mentioned that and that you're dedicated to that, because as entrepreneurs, it's really easy for us to push those things aside and go, well, the goal. And something that I'm very adamant about my type of coaching and what I focus on is that the truth is, Debra, is you and none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And so little things like taking time for yourself, enjoying your kids right now, today, is so, so important. And yes, we have ambitions. Yes, we have goals, but in the end, we also need to embrace the right now. And so doing that not only is a beautiful way of keeping that, but the truth is there's enough science behind it that tells us that those things actually will help your business. They will help you stay more focused, more motivated, actually more clear, having your aha moments happen in those times. So even though it may feel like, oh, this is an hour I could be using for my business, science actually tells us you really are actually using that for your business. Even though it may not feel like, social media posts, but it really is. So I'm glad that you're sticking to that. So it sounds like other than giving up things that you know are good for you, like sleep or your workouts, you're not really sure where we can find that time. So let's look at it. Do you know exactly like what time you actually have available in terms of like when you wake up? Do you have a morning routine? What is your day? What's a typical day?
So with COVID, it's really thrown a wrench into my schedule because now I have my 8-year-old who's home and I'm homeschooling him.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to have a good 6 hour block where I could get a lot of things done, and I don't have that anymore. So I get up around 6:30. I feed the kids, I get them dressed, I pick up the house, I make lunches. Um, by the time I've sat with them for a minute, ran around the house, it's time to drop my little one off at school. And then my older son and I will 3 days a week we'll go to the gym, and then we'll come home and we do schoolwork for maybe 2-3 hours, and then I will come up and do my paralegal job. And then before I know it, it's time to go pick up my son from school. And then we have taekwondo, and then it's dinner time. And then I have school 3 days a week at night via Zoom.
Wow.
And then it's bath time, and then it's bedtime, and it starts all over again. And there's a couple days of week of like Thursday and Friday where I don't have school at night. So I try to spend time with them and play with them a little bit more. But yeah, I just don't, I stay up till probably 11:30 or to 12 o'clock at night doing my schoolwork or coaching. I have some of my clients like late coaching calls because their kids are asleep. I have a couple in the afternoon that I will fit into as well. But for the most part, I feel like if I'm sitting, it's because I'm on the phone coaching or I'm doing my paralegal job. So I don't really have like time where I'm sitting watching Netflix or I'm watching TV, or I don't watch TV anymore. It's very far in between that I have a moment to myself. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the schedule.
So, because the truth is you really are working with some very finite slivers of time, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the first step for you is actually to tighten up exactly what's available. And well, I don't mean tighten up by shaving more time or anything like that, but for you to really identify like that 6 to 6:30, like choose a time. Is it going to be 6? Is it going to be 6:30? Just try it out at least 6 or 6:30. And what exactly is happening in that from 6 to what time does your son go to school? Do you need to take him to school by?
At 9.
9. Okay. So from 6 to 9, we have 3 hours. And in that 3 hour time span, and I'm assuming if he has to be there at 9, what time are you leaving the house?
8:45.
8:45. Okay. So you really have till 8:45. So let's say from 6 to 8:45, that 2 hours and 45 minutes. What exactly is happening in those times? And is it taking that full 2 hours and 45 minutes? Now, I just want you to map it out. I don't want you to find time necessarily. I just want you to actually map it out. So you mentioned like, I might clean up the house. I might do some things. What are the absolute most important things that have to happen during that time? And again, I'm not saying that you're going to map that out and like magically find a half an hour to get some work in. But what you may find is that you have time maybe to be more present with them. You have time to do something nice for yourself in that morning routine. Because something like even cleaning up the house might not actually matter right now, might not, those things. So for you, it's not about, I don't want you to focus on your schedule right now about finding time. I want you to find exactly where the time is going. So for you to go, okay, in the morning, I wake up, I'm brushing my teeth. That's taking me about 5 minutes. I'm, all the little stuff that we don't look at as an appointment. I want you to write it down as if it was an appointment, right? And like, okay, it may sound ridiculous where you're like 5 minutes, brush teeth, couple minutes, maybe, do you shower? Do you get dressed? And overall that takes you 10 minutes. Maybe you lay in bed for 10 minutes when the alarm goes off, whatever that really is. Like, I want you to write it all down and quantify it. And if it takes 2 hours and 45 minutes, perfect. We see that you're using that time efficiently. If you go, it's an hour, go, what's happening with that other time? And with that other time, again, it doesn't mean we're going to fill it in with work, but you might go, wow, actually, if I'm really mindful from 6 to 7:15, I have this next hour to just spend with the kids. We can actually do something here, or we can do, or something else. Maybe it is they watch some cartoons and you squeeze in a couple of calls. That part doesn't matter yet about what to do with it, but what I want you to know is exactly where it's going. So then after you take him to school, This is also like an appointment. So I want you to block it out. 8:45 to 9 is driving. And you don't have to do this every time, but in the beginning, I want you to kind of really see. So 8:45 to 9 is driving, 9 o'clock drop off, if that takes, 5 minutes or whatnot. And now it's another 15 minutes to drive back home or drive to the gym, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, 3 days a week.
3
Yeah.
days
We
a
go
week.
to the gym. So
So 3 days.
we get home about 10,
Okay. So
depending,
around
depending
10,
on the
10.
workout, because I don't, but I have a trainer that will give
Okay.
me stuff to do. So I don't necessarily always know how long the workout's going to go.
Okay.
But yeah, usually it's between 10 and 10:10 I get home.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah. I think a 10-minute leeway is going to be okay.
Yeah,
If it's not a difference between an hour or 2 hours, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a 10-minute. So let's just say 10-10. When you're doing this mapping, I want you to say it's still 10-10, and that's 3 days a week. And then start to map out what's happening after that, the schoolwork, the exact time. And I want you to find out if there's any spaces in between. I actually have my calendar handy here. And so it's not going to be exactly visible, but what I'm just going to show here is that you'll see I have these like blocks that I block out, and I start to write out everything, and any space in between are slivers of time that I may find. Sometimes I see that the sliver is 15 minutes, and the truth is I'm probably not going to do much in 15 minutes, but I know at least where it's there. Or I may be able to see like, gosh, if I have this 15-minute break, maybe it's better if I compress these two things together, because this 15-minute and that 15-minute and that 15-minute can add up over here to almost an hour of time I could have if it was all together. So we
Right.
can start to just realistically know what slivers you have. And then the truth is, Debra, if you look at it and you're really mindful about all of these pieces, about all of the have tos and your obligations, okay? And when I say have tos and obligations, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, it is the things that you have to do. You have to homeschool your son right now. You have to take your other son to school. You have to do school. You have an obligation to right now to yourself to show up for your workout. Any other obligations, they're essentially the same thing. I just usually call obligations the one-offs that you may have said yes to. Maybe you're picking someone up from the airport, right? That's not a have to, but it is an obligation if you've said yes to it, right?
Right.
So I want you to look at, just like for the next 2 weeks, your have tos and obligations in real time, really every little kind of box, and look at it. And the reason I say real time is because maybe next week you have something different than this week. Maybe this week you have a client call at a certain time, but next week you don't have that same client call. And mark it out and really see where those empty spaces are. Once we see what they are, we'll really know what we're working with. And like I was going to say, the truth is if you see them and they are tiny, tiny slivers, then honey, give yourself a break, because the truth is you really don't have the time. And at this point and juncture, you may have, this is where we have to make decisions. And sometimes the decisions may be, I'm going to stop something. I'm going to uncommit to something. And if that's not an option, then the other thing is for you to give yourself some grace and mercy to say, you know what, realistically, if I look at this schedule and this process, I'm going to need to wait till this month or that month to focus on getting more clients, because I just need to finish school. I am dealing with razor thin moments of time. But the difference is right now, I think if you try to do that, you're going to feel like you're giving yourself slack. You're going to feel like, oh, I should try to be doing it all. And every entrepreneur on Instagram is telling you hustle, and work really hard. But if you have the hard black and white knowledge of what you're really working with, then you can just give yourself a break, or you can go, you know what, when I look at it, I have Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:30, and that's all I have. And if that's the truth, then that 1 hour you have, you're going to be really, really, really mindful of it. Like that Instagram post might not matter as much as that thing you can do for your client, or that one thing that's going to actually get you another client. Right. So one of the quotes I heard a long time ago, many years ago, that I really loved, that was that if your time was worth, let's say $2,000 an hour, you would really rethink how you spend 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And you need to remember your potential and what you can do is absolutely worth that. So identify the real time you have first and foremost. Like really, I know you've kind of generalized it, but I want you to go in and like nitpick it and see what those slivers are. And when you see it, you're either going to go, holy crap, I have more than I thought. Whoa. Or you're going to go, I really actually don't. And I need to just be kinder to myself and my expectations, and really switch that around. That right now I'm going to maintain the clients I have. I'll push some of my referrals. And then, you know, when this ends or that ends, or I'm able to get a babysitter, whatever those different options are, then
Mhm.
I need to just realistically tell myself my business will start focusing more on it this month or that. Okay. So that's option one. Okay.
Mhm.
so so in terms of the time, I think that is where I would want you to start. I don't want you to shave off sleep. You know, that is huge for our mindset. It's huge for our health, your mood and attitude, especially with the extra stress and the schooling.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you love your yeah,
I feel hungover
yeah.
daily because
Yes.
of the sleep.
Yes, and it is a real actual feeling that they
Mhm.
describe in people who are sleep deprived. And
Yeah.
so this 11 to 6 kind of thing, you know, is really pushing the time frame. 7 hours is the minimum of sleep there. So
Yeah.
so if we're
I
not
think
put
I think I'm going to bed more like 12:31.
right. So you really are at a sleep deprived space. And
Mhm.
so shaving off sleep is not an option. It's not going to do anyone good for you, your clients, your kids, or anything. So that isn't the option. The option is honestly just finding where it really is going and having the true heart to heart with yourself about what that looks like. What are those empty spaces left on my calendar? And the reason like I
Yeah.
said, 2 weeks is just a good snapshot for you. And then if you
Mhm.
want to keep playing with that, once you get kind of into that habit of like, what do I do when I wake up? What do I do when I go to sleep? All of these actions that we take that aren't appointments, we write them down like they're appointments so we can see
Mhm.
where they really take up. So once you do that, the other things that I want you to kind of do, you know, looking at your business growth is
Mhm.
to one of the things that I saw what you filled out was, you know, that you wanted more time and more clients. And a lot of the things that was missing in that was specifics. How much
Mhm.
time do you actually need? That's a really key thing. If and how many more clients do I actually need? So for you to go more time, what could that mean? I mean, you're used to having the 6 hour days, but what could you do with 3 hours? What could you do with 1 hour? What is it that you actually need to do? What is the most
Mhm.
important tasks that are moving the needle for your business? So,
Mhm.
more clients. How many clients? One thing for us to recognize is that time is finite, which I'm sure you're very acquainted with. Time is finite. So, how many more clients could you actually take on? You know, if you were doing such a great job that 20 clients came to your door, could you do it? Where would that time be? And if you tell yourself, well, I could figure it out, then that's the same attitude approach. We need to also look now at your schedule then. Because if we could
Mhm.
figure it out in that situation, then there's something in our mindset then that's blocking us from finding it now.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
definitely don't think I could
right. I
take
don't
on
think you could either.
20 more coaching clients. Yeah.
See, and so that's a good thing to recognize. Like, even if, so let's say you were given this time, another hour to do some great marketing and it just started pulling in the clients. What would you do with that?
Right. Because I don't have the time to coach them.
You actually don't have
So,
the time to coach them. Yeah.
right. So, right now, I'm kind of, they reach out to me. I'm not really advertising at this
Mm-hmm.
point. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming to me. And because they're coming to me, I'm finding time for them.
Right.
But like I said, yeah, if I was putting ads out there and I was constantly posting about something I was promoting and I got people who wanted, I don't think at this point I could manage
You
that.
could actually could.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So the having, a handful of clients monthly seems to work better for me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth pretty much. So that helps me. But yeah, eventually when I'm done with my degree, I'm going to want this full time. So,
Yeah.
and then I think that's the other thing is like, if I find myself that I have an extra hour, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do like a MailChimp email and, give people some advice and, show them things, tell them things that I can help them with. But then I'm like, okay, but what if all these people write me back and they, they want to hire me right now?
They want to
So
do
then
something.
I used to be really, really active on social media, and I just don't have the time. Like I want to take pictures of my food, and I want to take pictures of my workout, and I want to take pictures with my kids and out and about and go on live and give free advice and help everyone and, pump everyone up that they can do it if I can do it. But I just don't find, I'm just like, wait a minute. Oh, I ate my lunch because I was so hungry and I'm in a hurry. I forgot to take a picture.
Well, you know
So
what? I think you're in the right mindset right now. And for you to identify, even now, like you said, if people and it's word of mouth, I can find time for them. Even that has a limit right now. And so
yeah.
I think it would be important for you to look at and go at max, the 3 I have now, or I could take 2 more and I'm looking at my schedule. That would literally be it. But know what your max is right now. Know when that max ends. So if you know school's going to be over, what month is it going to be over?
End of May.
End of May
But
this
then,
year.
right. I mean, I'm not going to be done. I'm just going to be done with the semester.
Okay. Okay. And then it's going to pick up with the same kind of demand after that.
Yeah, it's probably I'm going to be doing this for a while because I can only
Okay.
take one class at a time because I have 2 kids and a full-time job.
Right. Right. Okay.
So I don't really have, and my classes that are necessary for my degree are chemistry and organic chemistry, and so it's and anatomy, and so those are classes that take 25 to 30 hours a week, which I don't, so I can't take multiple classes in one semester. I have to take one
Right,
at a
right.
time.
And it's very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would think is that if you want to keep the burners going, right? Keep something on the
Mm-hmm.
stove, as it were, from, May, June, July, August-ish, you have kind
Mm-hmm.
of a break to either do a short stint with some clients, which is
Mm-hmm.
great. That summer, rush, people might want to, get into their healthy bodies and stuff during that time.
That's
You
true.
can lay the foundation for your availability during that time.
Okay,
And
that's a
so
good plan.
your focus now, what I would also say is don't worry about doing all the things, the social
Mm-hmm.
media, the newsletter, pick one. Pick
Mm-hmm.
one and just show up consistently only there. So
Okay.
what you need to do is you have a place where you're going to attract people, where you
Mm-hmm.
convert, and where you deliver. And so where you're showing up to attract is usually where we would, because even showing up on social media isn't necessarily attracting. At that point, we're that's awareness. They might say, oh, she's somebody, but how do I bring them into my funnel, into my space? And that's usually where we have like a lead magnet or something that is, Deb's top 10 tips for XYZ, or how to make it, 5 ways to make easy. I know you do a lot of meal prepping. So 5
Mm-hmm.
ways for easy meal prepping, and just use that one thing
Mm-hmm.
that people like, that works.
Mm-hmm.
Let them opt in for it. And that's wherever you are having that conversation. So if it's on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or if it's only on Facebook, honestly, if you can, I would say even just pick just one platform where you play. It doesn't need to be on LinkedIn, and just pick one that you like the most, stay there and only talk about your one thing, let them fill in, and you have your newsletter. And you
Mm-hmm.
nurture those people consistently. But when I say consistent, it can be once a month if that's all you can do. But whatever you pick, just keep it up. And keep
Mm-hmm.
it up with, it doesn't have to be some over delivery. We're all so busy. When you show
Mm-hmm.
up in the inbox, I don't need a book. I don't need you to give me 16 paragraphs. If I can get a quick tip and I'm like, phew, thanks, Deb, we're happy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's how I feel too. That's why you see people, I think it's kind of stopped a little bit, but some people will have a picture and then a giant novel in their thing. And I'm like, I read 2 sentences and I move on. So I started probably a year ago going, I'm not even going to go into detail.
yeah,
I'm just going to say a little bit, maybe a few tips, and that's it. And like,
yeah.
I'm not, because you're scrolling and half the time you don't even read what someone posts. You just look
No.
at the picture.
You're just going through it. You're going through it.
Right.
So you want to give that advice and that thing. But here's what I would also say. If you know that you have this short moment of time in the summer to
Mm-hmm.
potentially run a program or run something big, whatever the focus of that program or that coaching or that situation is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
anything you talk about between now and then should be setting the foundation for that.
Okay.
So just for an example, let's say it was a meal prepping course. Then
Mm-hmm.
every time you show up between now and May, you should be talking about different types of meal prepping, why we meal prep, theories about meal prep, fun meal prep. I mean, we can probably vary it a little bit, but all within that point that by the time they've listened to you, they're like, I am so ready to meal prep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, convenient. I have a meal prepping program that is happening.
Yeah.
So whatever the thing is, or the focus is that you decide for that short stint, you can be laying the groundwork now as you show up. So you don't need to show up and talk about all the things. If we don't need to talk about smoothies if we're not doing a smoothie thing. Okay. Like, and this happens a lot with health and wellness is there's so much you could talk about because it's
True.
everything, right? It's everything. But your focus is not only supporting them, but it's also making this a business. And so
Yes.
you are working towards a sale, you're working towards a conversion, and your goal is to educate them as to why they want your product. Right? We don't always know why something is better than something else. We don't know why it's benefit. If you give me two really nice cars and I know nothing about either car, I might be like, well, I don't know. They're both really nice cars. But you find out this one, has a toy engine and the other one's, a BMW. You're like, oh, well, clearly. But if you haven't been educated on that, you don't know. You just go, oh, they're both black and shiny. So you are laying the groundwork. How do they tell the difference between a strong meal plan? How do they know if they're using the right XYZ? Whatever the thing is, you're laying the groundwork that they're so like, yeah, this is so important. This is so good. Oh, she taught me this. And then by the time that piece comes up, they're like, I know I need it. I already know because I've been like being taught about it for so long. This is the obvious choice for me. And so that's where we narrow our focus and we get out of the world of just playing in wellness because it's a very crowded field and it's everywhere. Now, as you move on and you choose a different program, you have different focus, shift gears. Of course, let's say you decide, I really want to do a smoothie program. And again, I'm just using random examples. Then of course, let's talk about smoothies for a month. Let's talk about greens and all that fun stuff. But you want to do an exercise fitness, then we talk about that. But what you don't need to do is talk about fitness, smoothies, meal prepping, and all of it right now. Focus on the one thing that's going to lead towards the one thing and the one conversion. You don't need to be good. I'm glad. You don't need to be in all the places. Another thing, when you're there, when you are online, now I know you're not trying to convert a lot of people right now. But what I did notice when I did look through your social media is that you share a lot of value, but you don't actually mention what you do or what they can do.
Okay.
So if you create this lead magnet or something that brings them into your list where you can nurture them periodically, as you go through school, as you're able to give them value and every couple of months or now work with them as a client, if you're going to do that, then we need to be reminding them, hey, here's my great day today with my kids. And if you want to know how I find with the slivers of time I have, how to make time for this, check out my top 10 list of this or my 5 steps how to XYZ, whatever the thing is you choose, have it naturally progress to the program or the thing you want to do this summer. Right. Okay. So if you say my top 5 smoothies and this summer, I'm doing my meal prepping, there's not a big connection there. Right. So if you're going to have a program that's about something, then when they opt in for that first item, it should naturally be like, oh, the next step after I learn 5 basics about meal prep would be to take this meal prepping course, right? There's a natural flow from what they asked for to what you're going to give them. All right. So whatever that thing is, but when you show up, wherever you decide to show up, let them know that that's there. Tell them what you do. Because I see that you're giving a lot of value, but you're just giving value, hoping that they'll go, oh, I think she does that. I think she's a coach, but you're not. Tell them, and don't be afraid. You're not being salesy. You're just reminding them why you care about this, why you do this, and what you do. It doesn't have to be some like, and by the way, get mine for $5.99. It's not. You don't have to do a pitch. You just have to let them know, remind them who you are, why you exist, and what you can give them. I mean, that's what it is, not a sale. You're going, look, you want help with this, I have this. And that'll at least passively grow your list as you are, like you said, this is all you really have those slivers to do. So that you can release yourself from this, oh, I wish I was posting more. You don't need to post more. You really don't. You literally can't take on that many clients right now. So all you want to do is nurture that process slowly and lay a foundation for the short stint that you have. And the fun thing is because you are so limited in time, you actually can start talking. You probably can pick dates now and be like, literally, this is the only time I'd have to do it. And you can drop hints here and there. Like, I'm excited for my program in May or June, and leave it at that and know that that's your stint. And as we continue to do things like this and work together, there's lots of things we can do to grow your business, but I don't think that is the number one goal right now. the beauty of it is because you do have a job and you do have all this stuff, you actually can take this time to just focus on your brand, how you want to show up and how you want to be known. A lot of times entrepreneurs in your position are also scrambling because they need to bring in money fast because they don't have the other job. They don't have something. Now, I'm sure you're not raking in, like sitting on your millions, but the fact is having that comfort, you actually can take this slowly, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no,
I feel like, yeah, I feel like that. I mean, I feel like I'm going to get there, and yeah, I wish it was faster, but everything happens for a reason. So I'm just taking it all in, and I know that I need the time to get to where I'm supposed to go.
yeah. Yeah. And you
And I
have the
need to,
pieces in place to support you with that.
yeah, I do need to do a little bit more and focus more. I really like the idea of doing a summer program and then constantly posting about, hinting at that summer program, and then posting about what that summer program will be so they get what I'm doing.
Yes.
And meal prep is like, it's how, it's everything, like, to me. So I think I'm just going to focus on the meal prepping, because to me that's where you get the results, and that changes the mindset, and it's a full circle.
Yeah. And see, in that meal prep, you can be talking about the mindset of meal prepping, the mindset of time, how it all connects. But now you have a focus and a purpose to really get it towards that program, right? Towards that thing. So one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of clients about lately has been the concept of the 5 1s. And so what that is it's one product, it's one target market, right? So your meal preps may fit a lot of people, right? But right now, pick the one that either you like the best, or the one that this serves the best, or the one that this is most ready for right now, or they're mentally most ready for it, right? Wherever they need to be. It's not about demographics, it's about psychographics. So a lot of times we focus on, well, she's a female, 35 to 55. How does she feel? How does she feel right now? So let's drop the demographics and look at the psychographics. Where is she mentally? How is she tired of things? Is she fed up? Is she overwhelmed? What are those places? And who is that person? Is it the mom? Is it the single mom? Is it the busy professional mom? It's for all of them, but who do you like to work best, or who do you think right now this will serve best? And focus on that target market. So one product, one target market, one traffic source. That's where we go back to like just Instagram or just Facebook, just the lead magnet, right? Just that one piece of information. And then one conversion tool. Now you're not have a huge issue for this yet, but one conversion tool is basically, once they're on your list, what is the process that brings them from a prospect to a client? So for some people, that's a call. Get on a call. We have this sales call and they turn into a client. Some people, it may be a webinar. They come on the webinar, they learn about your stuff, they purchase the product. For some people, it may be an event. I mean, whatever the thing is that converts them, just use one. Don't do the webinar and the phone call and the this and the that. Pick one, especially for you with the limited time. Just pick the one. And then what do we have? We have the 3, right? One product, one traffic, one target. Yes, one conversion for 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Get really good at it.
Okay.
Just get really good at those one thing, that one space, that one person for 1 year, until you see the progress. You can learn to adjust. You learn to get better. You might create a better lead magnet as time goes on, but it's just that one space. Now, if something falls on your lap and it's like, holy crap, sure, we can talk about pivoting. But until then, I would say give yourself that. And given your situation and your time frame, it sounds like the most reasonable thing.
Yeah, no, I really like that. That's awesome.
Yay.
That sounds great. Yeah. I mean, now I do, the one-on-one call, and then we decide if we're a good match, because sometimes people aren't a good match.
Of course.
So, yeah.
So doing the calls are great if that's the conversion tool. And of course, right now we're looking at what makes the most sense. If right now you're not even really taking on clients and it's going to be towards a program, how many clients is that? Is it a group program? So maybe in the free, and I use that really lightly, the free time that you do find, instead of worrying about posting on social media, brainstorm this program. What could it
Yes.
be? Is it going to be a one-to-one? Is it going to be a one-to-many? How many?
Mhm.
Where do I want to show up? Where do I want to convert them? Am I getting on a call with all of them, or am I going to run a webinar or like a training session where we talk about it? And then, hey, if you want to move further, we have this program. Determine that process. But that's what I would use in your business building free time. Again, I use that term loosely, but that's what I would do in your free time. The rest of it you have dedicated to clients for at least now until their term is up. I guess, are they like on a contract type end at a certain time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some of them go have a longer contract. Some of
Mhm.
them have a shorter contract, and they renew.
Okay.
frequently.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So again, looking at your schedule, looking at what's available, squeeze your work time, your business building time into just
Mhm.
focusing into these slivers. And when you
Yes.
find yourself opened up more or something that's changed, then let's have this conversation again.
Yes. Love it. Thank you so much. Such good information.
I'm so glad.
No, I tell this to people all the time because they're like, I know how to do it. I know how to lose weight. And I'm like, you do. And like, I know how to do this too. But having someone help you and coach you and guide you is just so beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and maybe even having someone validate that it sounds like you do have a lot on your plate and it's realistic, and
Yeah.
trying to squeeze it more is not necessarily the answer for you right now, but it
Right.
is when you do find that 1 hour to make
If
sure
there is
you're doing
something
the
I
most
can do,
effective
yeah.
thing, right? Because there's
Yeah.
something you can do. That's actually part of the
Yes.
problem is there's plenty, and there's plenty of advice that will give you 16,000 things that you could do. You should
Yeah.
be doing stories. You should be on Clubhouse. You should be doing this.
Yeah.
But what is your actual goal and what are you trying to do? And that one little sliver of time you have, that's what it should move towards. And if you've heard me say this before, what makes the boat go faster? And so if that's not your boat, if Clubhouse isn't moving your boat faster, then Clubhouse isn't the thing. I don't care how great it's working for everyone else. That's not your thing. If Instagram, isn't the thing right now, if it doesn't make your boat go faster, it's not. And right now, like I said, general posting doesn't sound like the thing that's going to move you faster. Putting this program together, getting prepped and ready for something to happen in May or June, that's going to make your boat go faster right now. And the rest of it is identifying this time, because the real boat right now is your life. And you having some sanity in your everyday, sanity with your kids, releasing some of this guilt, mama, because you are
I have a
working
lot of
fast
mom
enough.
guilt. Yes, I do.
And I heard you saying that, like, and then I try to spend more time with them to do this. I think if you find those boxes of time, you may not always have to just feel like you're squeezing it in. You can look and go, I actually, now that I see this, I have a lot of time I'm spending with them. And maybe it's okay if mama takes that half an hour for herself on this Thursday night.
I do. I mean, I'm like, stop being so hard on yourself. But, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this generation, but we like think we have to constantly entertain our children. Like we didn't have that growing up. Our parents were like, go outside.
Right.
And now it's like, we have to constantly be entertaining them. And I'm like, no, I don't need to be constantly entertaining them. It's hard for me at this point with my oldest because he's here all day and I feel like I neglect him because I'm working. But I mean, I'm spending hours with him doing his schoolwork. I'm his teacher now. And I'm driving them to their activities and I'm doing dinner with them and I'm asking them how they're doing. And I talk about feelings all the time and I'm cuddling. And I'm like, some days that's just going to have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does. And that's how they see and get examples of how life works and how you deal with it. It's not always about just, let me focus only on you. And there's a balance. And again, I think going back and seeing your schedule in black and white might not only give you some ahas as to where you might have some time, but also show you really what time you are spending with them. And really, you can't argue with it. You can't argue with that. When you look at that calendar, you're like, oh, wow, not only am I spending this 2-3 hours teaching them, but then like we have this half-hour playtime that I wouldn't even think about that we're doing and all of those things. So do that for your own just overall sanity. And as we're wrapping up, is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good. I got lots
Okay.
to go. I got lots to work on.
Lots to work on and hopefully more time and sanity to do it.
Yes, I'll figure it out.
Well, so as we learned, everybody, Debra is very full and she may have time if you're super duper special, but she is going to have a program coming up this summer. But until then, if you want to at least get some good, valuable information, get on her list or some great top 10 checklist she might have for you. Can you tell everyone where they can find you, Debra?
They can find me on Instagram at Debra.Iverson, or I have a website, www.DebraIverson.com. So
Okay.
just my name. It's easy.
Debra Iverson right
Debra
there.
Iverson, Debra.
Okay, got it. Got it. We'll have that down here. So,
Okay.
so awesome, guys. You can at least get some great information from her. See, maybe not see what she's doing because she has other things to focus on, but she's going to make sure she gives you value. And that's what matters most, and teach you guys about some meal prepping for summer. So, everyone, that is it for our session today. If you're interested in a live session to review your business, you can email us at info@tanyamfk.com. As always, I love connecting with all of you on Instagram. You can find me at Tanyamfk and learn more about our resources, courses, and workshops at tanyamfk.com. We put out new videos about designing your best life and business every week. So make sure to click that subscribe and follow button, share this video, comment below, let us know what you thought, send Debra some support, and catch us next week. And remember, your someday does start today. So make it the best. I'm Tanya MFK, and I'll see you next time.